To financially elevate myself, currently I'm fundraising to attend the 32nd Annual International Association for Blacks in Dance Conference, which is going to be hosted in Philadelphia. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm trying to financially elevate myself, as I said. So, yeah, thank you.
How long have you been dancing?
5 years.
And you're like Missy Copeland. I don't know any black ballet dancers, but like who are some famous black male ballet dancers?
Alvin Ailey, Brooklyn Mac, Arthur Mitchell, Osil Gnu. There's some of them.
Hobbs Waters. So if you haven't had a chance to check out Hobbs' website, it's citytroll.com. Okay, and so it features all his different artwork. He and Cole actually were featured in a art gallery work. I'm losing my words here. Mom, you're right, it does happen. And so basically this was at Portland 5. It was featuring works by all black artists. It was phenomenal. I mean, if you didn't know he was 13, you would just think that this was a very like older person, my age, 40 and up, doing this thing. And so I can't wait to, the great things that keep coming from you. So thank you. Donna Maxey, are you ready to come on up here? All right. Can we give another round of applause for Donna Maxey?
You're taking up part of my time. So, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's try that one more time. That was pitiful. Let's hear it. Good evening. All right, I'm Donna Maxey, founder, director of Race Talks, and we are doing, instead of having our newcomers, how many of you are newcomers? Okay, so for those people who don't know, I guess I'm taking it out of here. Yeah, this is better. For those people who don't know, the men's restroom is right here, the women's is back there. Important rooms. McMenamins is our sponsor. Be sure you get a lot of food, a lot of drinks. Tip our people. Wave hands, waiters, people, those folks. Would you wave your hand, boo-boo? Yeah. Give him a big tip. So this is the beginning, this is the end of our 9th year. And Sam, where are you? Stand up. Where are you, Sam? Is Sam here? Sam Sachs, where are you? Look, Sam says, are you excited? I said, I would have been excited if I had gotten paid for 9 years. Except I didn't get paid. I'm the #1 volunteer. So, this next year we're raising money. Our goal is to raise $1 million. And we want you to be the start of it. And I want to say that Hobbs did not do a very good job of selling himself, as most of us don't do. Hobbs is amazing as a dancer. And when I looked at him the other day, I said to myself, this is a junior Baryshnikov. He is elegant. He has promise. He's only been doing it 5 years. And I see big things from him. So please be gracious in your contributions to him. He is going back to do a big dance. There are very few black people in ballet, very few people of color, period. Not that we aren't talented, because y'all know we can dance. Well, some of us can. Not all of us. I'm not one of them. But that was a joke. If you're not going to laugh, I'm going to quit telling you. So anyway, he's going back to do ballet with a bunch of people who are of color. Please contribute graciously. It's all nonprofit. We're a nonprofit, so it's all tax deductible. So you can take that off your taxes next year. All right. So what we are doing is recognizing the people who have helped to make Race Talks possible. So in order to do this quickly, oh, Shane is putting up a timer. So in order to do this quickly, we're going to, I'm just going to call names. So the first person I went to see was Tim Hills with McMenamins, and Tim brought in the McMenamins family, and he is the head of the History Pub. So I'm going to name off the number of years they've been volunteering, and the person named Tim Hills since 2010.
You want them to stand up if they're here?
If you're here, stand up when I call your name. Maceo Pettis, who was with Uniting to Understand Racism since 2010. Christy Deinkeek with Uniting to Understand Racism, 2011. Teresa Sales, 2011, with UUR. Stephanie McBride, 2011. Now, when I say that those people volunteered, every month I got together with them when we first started, and we talked through issues. We talked about what was in the news, what was important. We developed a program. They helped me get my chops for doing this. I already knew how to do it. I taught forever. But it was just a matter of having someone to bounce ideas off of. So they were very instrumental. And then Tim brought on McMenamin staff, Orlando Sanchez, Carrie Conroy, Emlyn Stanger, Caitlin Pop, and Marcia Knudsen. And representing them tonight is Caitlin Pop. Wave your hand, nice and wide. And then they brought me, thank you, Caitlin.
Yeah.
You'll get your certificate later, maybe. And then they brought me Mike, Joe, anybody, Tabor. So stand up, Mike. And he's the one who does all the videography. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And loads it onto YouTube. So if you want to see the past, all the I think almost every one of the race talks, maybe except for the first one, is there. Our oldest volunteer is Susan Marcus. Is Susan here tonight? She's sick. Oh, but Susan started in 2011. She told me she started in 2009. I thought, Susan, you couldn't have started in 2009 because I didn't start till 2010. So, but we went through training with Uniting to Understand Racism about the same time that Tony Crummett did, who is our next volunteer. Tony Crummett, who's been volunteering with Race Talk since 2011. Jackson, since 2012. Stand up. Carlos Rodriguez, 2012. So, you guys can continue to stand. Yeah, continue to stand. Harold McNairn, since 2012. He does our Facebook page. Harold's not here. Lisa Ali. We'll get back to Lisa. Okay, I'm not saying Lisa. I don't do well when I say Lisa's name. Okay, Teresa Horney does our website since 2014. Sophia Vidales since 2015, and Sandra Holstein since 2015. Let's hear it for all those folks. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. All right. Our other people, we've had, UUR we don't have our nonprofit status yet. And the reason we don't have it is because yours truly is part of a caregiving team. My mother was supposed to come tonight, but I thought it was going to snow and I didn't want her out. She's 100 years old. So I'm part of a 24-year caregiving team. So that's kind of where the rest of my spare time goes. So I didn't have her come. But she has been active in Race Talk since the beginning. She's my first volunteer and cheerleader. But the other people, after UUR went out of business, we got under the aegis of World Arts Foundation, which is Michael Grice and Ken Berry. And those folks put on you might have heard of World Arts Foundation Incorporated, they put on the Mount MLK celebration every year. How many of you have been to the MLK celebration at Highland Church? So they're the ones who put that on. And then we got from under them, and now we're under Dr. Kofi Desu and Brigitte Desu, who are with Togo Court Incorporated. So very soon, I brought on a very magical young woman better known as Shana Pomerantz, who is my daughter. Stand up, Shana. And she is going to take us to the big time. So I had this kid overeducated. She's got a master's in, what is that, MSLO or something like that?
Business.
What does that mean?
Business.
It's a business degree. Or as I had her saying at age 2, people would say, "You sure are pretty. Are you going to be a model?" She said, "Yes." And I said, and I'm going to get a business degree. So she went and got her business degree, and she also got a law degree. So we're in good shape. But we pulled together a board. So if any of you are here, Shota Zono,
He's not here.
Rania Ayob, Jeff Gottfried, I saw you walk in. Where are you? Thank you very much. And Shelby Cardis. So those are people who are volunteering to help us right now. Thank you very much.
And AJ.
And who?
AJ.
And AJ. Where are you? AJ. She didn't give me your name on a sheet of paper, AJ. I'm sorry. I didn't put you a card because she's my MSLO. So these are our other volunteers. As you can see, there have been a lot of dedicated people, and I really appreciate them. They have been doing this. They're just as stupid as me. They've done it for free. So thank you very much. Bernadine Clay since 2017. Sandra Jackson since 2012. Jacob Mesteman and his son Vaughn Mesteman. Stand up. Come on now. These people, they do our t-shirts. So, they have, and how old is Vaughn? How? He just turned 17, so Vaughn's been doing it for a minute. Okay, Jiro Isatani, since 2015. There's another one stuck here. Shana Pomerantz since 2017. And Maxey since 2010. Okay, so those are our volunteers. Now, we had some people who came, and some of them said that they were kind of traumatized. It was people of color, and one of the things that they said was that it was very difficult being at the tables when they were talked over, when they were discounted for their opinions, and when white people just basically ignored their presence. And so we were using volunteer facilitators, and we said we need to have a program where we train people, where we really get folks involved. So we have trained a cadre of volunteers and of volunteer facilitators. We have put them through the ropes, let me tell you. Our first training was a 21-hour weekend intensive, and Anthony said it all. Anthony is a trainer for the U.S.
The feds.
Forest Service.
Forest Service, for the feds. He's been with them like 18 years. He said he had never been through a training like that.
Tell him what he does, though.
What?
Tell him what he does, though.
He does diversity and equity training. So he does what we're doing. And he said it was something new for him. So I felt pretty good about that. Thank you very much. So we're going to share with you our facilitators. When I call your name, stand and wave your hand and tell how many, and I'll tell how many hours you've done. Richard Flanagan, 132 hours. Shannon Batts at 69 hours. Sophia Vidalis, 116 hours. Stephanie Lamb, who was our intern and is now back working on her doctorate. I like those educated people. She's back, where?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, working on her doctorate, 40 hours. Stephen Fowler, 54 hours. Susan Marcus, 92 hours. Marcy Bean, 87 hours. Ken Hansen, 61 hours. Jim Connor, 84 hours. Aaron Evans. Now, some of these people don't have very many hours. That's because they didn't send me how many hours they have done. So Aaron Adam Edmonds, I know for a fact they have done 21 hours, but I know they've done more than that. So Aaron Edmonds, 21 hours. Anthony Jackson, 90 hours. What?
I sent it in to you.
Well, somebody didn't get it. Okay, listen. Listen, Linda. Carlos Covarrubias, 40 hours. Margaret Rother, 42 hours. Shana Pomerantz, 200 hours. Maxey, off the charts. Stephen Root, 21 hours. Anthony Allen, 24 hours. Adriana Mullins, 21 hours. Adriana had to quit. It was either finish the training program or have that baby. And so she decided to have the baby. Edward Francois, 21 hours. Thank you for those people who have it. And Christina Lee, 21 hours. Sandra Holstein, 21 hours. All right. So we are very excited. A couple of things I want to share with you. Oh, I forgot. Would you pick up one of the posters back there for next month? I forgot to announce next month. Next month, our program is Portland Parent Union. We're having Sheila Warren Washington and Susan Anglada Bartley, I think her name is, come. And we have invited, oh, is it up there? Yeah. Oh, okay, then I don't have to do that. Okay, and we invited the Portland Public Schools School Board. They've been trying to get the Portland Public Schools School Board to get into a dialogue with them. Hadn't happened, so I put it on a poster and sent it to them and said, we're inviting you to come. So next month, February 11th, they are coming, and there will be a school board member at each table with a facilitator and a person a parent from Portland Parent Union. And we're going to try and get as many people as possible who are parents in the community to come and talk about the lack of equity in what happens at East Side, in the educational offerings on the East Side and the West Side schools. So, that's what we're doing. Also, in March, our program will be about the census, what it is and what it isn't. And in April, we're inviting metropolitan area school superintendents to come and talk about what they are doing in terms of racial equity in their in their school districts. 2019, 2018 were pretty ugly in terms of a lot of racial profiling and ugly things that happened. And what was happening for children who were upset and fought as a consequence was very different than it was for children who started the SH. And you know the rest of that spelling. Okay, so those are our next 4 programs. Please be sure to take brochures so that you can share them with people. Those are the only ones we have on the books right now, but we will have more. We have t-shirts for sale. They're $20 a piece. Jacob is he's along with not knowing how to take money, so he donates the t-shirts and he and his son make them. So that's kind of where we are on that one, and we need you to purchase the t-shirts, purchase the tickets. We're really going for it this year. We're looking for somebody who knows how to work the computer and who would pick up what Aaron sent. So we're going to try and get an administrative assistant and pay Shana Pomerantz, and maybe on the 10th year, I might get paid. That would be exciting. So, y'all So along with our training program, Hobbs slipped into our training program as a facilitator. We trained 45 people last year as facilitators. And we have how many, Shana Pomerantz, where are you?
Right here.
How many do we have?
About 20, 25.
About 20, 25. I told Shana a bunch of them dropped out, but then she reminded me that not everybody's supposed to keep going through. So, the people who are here are really special. And we have people who are ex-principals, counselors, college professors, managers for the state, for the county, massage therapists, and Hobbs slipped in the door because we thought Hobbs was 16. Hobbs was 12. But Hobbs acts very mature, and he has done an excellent job as a facilitator. Excellent job. And Mom, AJ, I just want to give you a shout out for the excellent work you've done with him. So what we're going to do, we had another volunteer whose name I'm not going to mention because I get a little verklempt. And so Tony's going to talk about her.
And Carlos.
And Carlos. And so we are wait. So we looked at this person's attributes, and she passed. So I think I've had enough to say. So.
Thank you, Donna. And Carlos is going to start giving you a little bit of an idea of this wonderful volunteer named Lisa Ali.
You got to speak louder, right in the mic.
So Lisa Ali first found out about Race Talks in the way that a lot of people found out about Race Talks, which is she got a brochure from Donna in line at Costco. Anybody else get a brochure from Donna in a line at a grocery store? Donna and Lisa became not only friends but also allies in struggle to create dialogue around race in Portland. Something that was badly needed at the time. Lisa, like Donna, grew up in Northeast Portland, and like Donna, Lisa thrived to push herself to a higher academic and professional level of achievement for the good of her community. Lisa, in her lifetime, received the following degrees.
Yes, Lisa had an associate's degree as a paralegal, an associate's degree in criminal justice and corrections, a master's degree in conflict resolution, and was 1 month away from receiving a master's degree in arbitration and mediation at the time of her passing. She had lots of volunteer experiences. She was very active in many aspects of her community and wider community. But to highlight a few, she volunteered every Monday for several years to counsel and work with inmates at the Oregon State Correctional Facility in Salem. She drove down there every Monday with some other folks to do that. She was a facilitator at Resolutions Northwest from November 2013 to the time of her passing, and was the facilitator coordinator and also a facilitator for Race Talks from December of 2013 to the time of her passing. Some of the different describers or descriptors that we feel about Lisa ourselves, but also we glean from different things that we were reading about her, people writing about her. Most of all, we would say she is compassionate, very, very intelligent, a very generous person, had incredible insights, very outgoing, a very gracious person. She was a woman of faith, strong faith. She had a style that you just have to know her. I hope in the video some of this will come through, but shoes were actually her thing, and honestly, and nails. I could never even come close to imagining what she might be next having in the way of shoes. It was amazing, fabulous. And a great sense of humor. She was very persistent, and she was a very, very open person. Just her heart was open, her mind was open. She was there for whoever she was standing in the moment with, and she had an incredible presence.
In 2016, Lisa passed away from some health complications. Lisa believed more than anything in an individual's capacity to change, which is something that is at the heart of what Race Talks' mission is. And so in keeping with the theme tonight of walking each other home, we'd like to walk Lisa home by honoring her with a scholarship. for youth to come and take our Race Talks facilitator training. And Shayna or Donny can tell you more about the scholarship here shortly, but I think first we'd like to watch the film.
I guess it's time for me to leave. I guess it's time for me to go. We'll meet again. I'm not worried. Over on the other.
I am a facilitator with Resolutions Northwest and as well as Race Talks. My name is Lisia Ali. I am interested in social justice work, and so that's why I'm here. I have officially adopted Donna as my mom, so I am encouraged to do this work daily.
Time wait for no one. You just keep moving on. We all got to go to work and start on our other home. Can I get a witness? We all need to leave. Oh, don't you know we had to leave this world? But we got to start to working on our home above. I guess it's time for me to leave, and I guess it's time for me to go home. We'll meet again. I know we will. We'll meet again. I know we will. We'll meet again. When we get through singing, sometimes traveling all night long, giving up the right for the wrong sometimes. We're gonna meet again, Daddy. Come here. We might not never be no millionaire. We might not have a fine ride or a big bus to ride around in. But one of these days we don't need no ride. All we're gonna do is just walk around. Walk around. No.
All right. Whew. Just need lights back on, please. So the reason I wasn't part of this presentation is because I lived at a distance when Mom started Race Talks. I didn't actually return back to Portland until 2016. So Lisa and I kind of crossed paths. And I'm scared this is gonna fall
No,
over.
it's the thing.
Okay, so one of the things I can definitely say about Lisa that I really appreciate when you are a single child to your mother, if she doesn't hear from you, you get calls incessantly asking for a call back. And I lived in New York City for 7 years, and in the Bay, and in Louisiana, and all over the place. And so when Lisa came on the scene, the phone calls stopped. And so I was like, Mom, what's going on? Are you dating? What's going on? Oh, Lisa and I are gonna do this, and Lisa and I are gonna, I'm like, who's Lisa? You know, and so I ended up getting to talk to Lisa. She's like, girl, I've adopted your mom. I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. So I was a little mad at Lisa that she left us when she did, because I had to go out and recruit like 5 other daughters to make up her, you know, and her personality is very big, very beautiful. And so this scholarship is in her memory because she has inspired it. And so part of the scholarship, yes, can be used for youth facilitators aged 12 through 24 who want to participate in our Race Talks facilitation training and don't have the funds to do it. But it's also a scholarship that we're raising money for just for young people who need money and need to have a place to apply for it. So if you want to buy a basketball, if you want to, you know, join an organization in your school and they have fees, or you want to, you know, pay for a college application or a summer program, you know, it's really open-ended for us, because what we want to do, Mom and I are both educators by profession. She was elementary, I was high school and college, and we just want to be able to reach young people and bring in the next generation of youth. So all the proceeds that you see here tonight are going towards our Youth Scholarship Fund. Our goal is $5,000. In the first week, we raised about $1,100, so we're on our way. And we will post applications on the website for young people. So if you know any young people, know that this will be a resource that will be available. 7:15, thank you for the time. Okay, so where are we now in the, oh, come on up, Donny, Maxey.
Do I have to bring my tissue?
She's a crybaby, it's okay. Come on over here. I don't know how to do this. So anyway, we have gifts for her. What do you get somebody who's a workaholic? She's already getting massages because she's been in 3 car accidents in the past 2 years, so it's actually medically prescribed, so that doesn't work. What else can you get them?
Vacation.
Vacation. We're working on that for the 10-year. Okay, what else can you get them?
Bubble bath.
Bubble bath. Oh, I didn't think of bubble baths. That's a good one. You are taking more bubble baths these days. Well, here's what we did get you. So on your tables are thank you cards, and each of you get to write a special message to Donna. Your facilitators will allow you to put in a special message in the card. So if you want to use one of the white papers in there and write a special message to Donna, she will get it. This is also her birthday month. She turned 71. She started this in retirement. So what we did get...
Oh, I forgot to tell you that picture of Lisa standing with the woman with the cute outfits on. That was me. The one with the brown hair.
And the wig is called Miss Kitty. So anyway, and because we didn't forget about our regular programming, The Color of Fear, you might have realized that the kind of smaller Asian gentleman standing in between them is Lee Manoir, who is actually the creator of the Color of Fear documentary. They actually went down for some very important training to go see Charlie Wilson and Kim and some other people because they were giving a musical training. Girls' Weekend.
Spiritual retreat.
There you go. Spiritual retreat, whatever. I didn't get any phone calls. So they had a great time. They met Lee Manoir. Come to find out, he lives in my mom's uncle's old house in Richmond, California. If you've been to Race Talks, you've heard this story about 3 other times, so I won't repeat it. But we got you a gift. It's on the table. We got you flowers. We got you $250 worth of mani-pedi. And the lady said, it's for you to come whenever you want. I walked in and she said, you getting something for your mom? I said, yes, because this is the only thing I know that for sure she treats herself. And you probably noticed Lisa had really nice nails, so that was something that she also did. So Mom can also invite somebody to come get a mani-pedi with her if they would like, or not. She also wears really beautiful jewelry, so she got some beautiful, a ring and earring set, and she got this beautiful boutonniere as well. corsage, boutonnieres for the men, sorry. Whatever, we're not binary. So anyway, right? Okay, so this is your gifts. These are here. The extension of the gifts are the fundraising and the raffle tickets that people are going to purchase. So final call on raffle tickets before we start the movie. We're going to get you again afterwards. So hands up for the raffle ticket. Hands up. Okay, I got somebody here. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Got a hand here. We got a hand over there. We got a hand over here at this table, Tony. Tony, over here. We got a hand. Are you doing raffle tickets? Oh, okay, sorry. Jack, I'll get you.
So before I forget, I told you the t-shirts are $20, right? Also, how many of you have been to see Just Mercy? Have heard about it? Okay. When Harriet was here, I see some of my people who went, we had a talk back after the movie. And so we're going to do that this Sunday at Lloyd Center, Lloyd Center Regal Cinema. And the movie, we're going to meet at the 11:50 movie. So we'll meet there, and then after the movie's over, we'll walk down the street to 15th and Broadway to McMenamin's Broadway and go in. You can purchase food and drinks. I ain't paying for y'all, so you have to pay for yourself. And we'll have a conversation about the film. It's an excellent film. Get a lot of napkins. You're going to need some for the grease from the popcorn. You're going to need some when you cry. Jamie Foxx is being touted for an Academy Award, and he hardly has any dialogue. It is all emotion. It is a powerful, powerful movie. Powerful movie. So I hope that you will join us for that. I've made a reservation. They told me they want to know how many people are coming because they only have room for 35 people in that room. So how many of you think you might want to come? So raise your hand if you think you'd like to come. I need to see some more hands than that. Come on, y'all.
Okay. When is it again?
It's Sunday.
Next Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
This coming Sunday.
And I see a lovely lady who came last time when we did Harriet. Yes, So, yes, and you came too. And so, would love to have you folks come. Okay, I saw about 8 hands. All right. Was there something else I meant to tell?
We're going to start the movie.
We're going to start the movie. So, need you to be eyeballing people around the room because afterwards we have a drawing, a $25 drawing for for 2 people to go and get to know each other at a McMenamin's. So the whole thing is about getting to know folks. So if you see somebody across the room, if you want to make a connection with that person, we like for it to be with someone who's a different ethnicity, but this is Portland, Oregon. We'd just be happy if you find somebody you don't know. Okay. All right, so we're going to watch the film, and then afterwards, your talented and wonderful facilitators will lead the discussions. Okay, let's do it. And I'm taking my bag because I don't want anybody to take it.
I always get uptight when the cops are around. I get nervous. He came up to me and he said, "Let me see your license." Took my license, he says, "Get in the car." He didn't say, "Get in the car, sir. Would you please go back to the car?" Get in the car.
I was going to a party over in Kentucky and I got lost. So I stopped at this bar and I asked for directions. And this guy gave me directions. And I noticed in his hand he had a knife, and he had the knife out. And that knife was about this long.
What's different for me than for my father was I haven't fought as many cowboys as he has. So I ended up going to this Swedish Covenant High School. People say, "Oh, your English is pretty good."
When we were young, growing up in the 50s and 60s, and we would read in the news, see on the television of racial struggles in other areas and could not comprehend how that could be.
When people of color drown today, it's like, oh, well, that's people of color, and that's today. Never mind, let the good times roll.
That is, in my opinion, unfounded.
The first thing that I can remember was going to a baseball park in Kansas City and an incident that happened there where I got the ball. I was the only white boy there. Got beat up and got it taken away.
In Chinese, you know, the word American really means white to us.
For a white American to look at a person of color and say, "You're just like me, we're both American," is so totally insults me.
You're talking about feelings that startle me.
I want you to see me as a valuable person. I want you to see me as someone as valuable as yourself. I went to high school in an all-white environment. I was the only person of color in my high school. And that's where I learned that Asians were meant to be invisible. I really felt my life was not as valuable as my white counterpart. I was undesirable. Heaven forbid I should ask someone out to the prom. I was not as good as everyone else.
It's not that we all look the same. We don't all look the same, but it's like no one takes the time even to look at us.
There were two families in town who were Chinese. They went through school with us here. We did not do to them what you had occur to you. I mean, they were some of the most intelligent, well-respected students in the school.
But David, I wasn't a dunce.
I understand that, you weren't. I'm saying that here, they were treated differently than what I hear you saying.
I felt shameful being Asian because all the media portrays all the ideal people as these white people. I felt invisible. And it's ironic, well, it's maybe not so ironic, that the few times that I have not been invisible have been in the laundromat. I'm washing my own clothes with other white people, and invariably a white person will walk up to me with a bag with their arms full of clothes and just stand in front of me. And they say, "Do you work here?" Never mind asking all the other white people around. I was targeted. I was beeline, right? They were beeline right to me. Another woman in the laundromat, another time, came up to me with a $10 bill and waved it in front of me and said, "Change, change," and she was enunciating very carefully to make sure that I understood.
Change, ding, ding, ding.
And these are the times when I'm not invisible, okay? So you can imagine how much anger and frustration I feel. And this happens a lot. I was meant to be invisible and I wasn't meant to speak out. That was expected of me, and that's a feeling that I get in an all-white environment. You see, racism is institutionalized. There are certain set unspoken guidelines as to how people of color are supposed to act with white people.
I don't know who I am. I'm Japanese. I feel I'm a Japanese American. I call myself Yutaka now. It's my middle name. I was Greg, but I was just ashamed to say my middle name because I'd be afraid I'd get, ridiculed to death. And there were several times that I was. It's not just a few experiences or irrational reactions. I've been stopped in Tennessee doing the speed limit. When you see a cop behind you, you do the speed limit, and they still pull you over. It's just insidious. And it's hard, because I've shared this with a number of my Caucasian friends, and to them it's very foreign. It's hard to relate.
I have no real experiences with what I consider racism. I had vineyards and pear orchards for many years, and I employed many of your people, if you wish to call them that. They're my dear friends. They still are. I go to their homes in Mexico. They come to mine now when they come and visit. No, I have a great fondness for your people. And I think it's because I know them, and I don't know your people. And I don't know your customs and your thinking. I've never been acquainted with that because I don't have experience living next door to African Americans. And I see you removed from me. I don't have experience or proximity to your color.
Okay, you don't have experiences with African Americans, but you do have experiences with people.
People, yes.
I'm a person with a family, with a background, with a history, but approach me that way.
I don't think that anybody should be any less than another.
When we were coming up here, I felt like, damn, I'm back in Ohio. I'm outside the city. Now I have to be careful of how fast, I'm going. What's the chance of me getting stopped for any reason?
Really?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Driving through Ukiah, a big pickup was behind me with a gun rack on the back. I was nervous, and I've never been hurt by somebody on the freeway with a gun rack. That's never happened to me. But there was something really deep inside that said, "Take a look. Watch out."
It's like running a gauntlet all the time. I mean, it has to be experienced to be understood, because obviously nobody's getting it, but to always have to be on guard. The only time you're safe is when you sleep, and that's too much. That's too much to deal with.
And why don't you, with your people, look for something within yourselves that can make you feel equal to us?
A lot of things that African Americans do, if one does, it's always projected on the group. So let's say if Victor is a murderer, a rapist, or whatever, that means I am too.
What happens in my experience is a Latino drops out of school. All the Latinos are going to drop out of school then. A Latino robs a store. Therefore, all the Latinos are going to rob stores.
That's too much of a burden to bear. When you've got 30, 40 million different people with different backgrounds, that's too much of a burden for one of us to represent the group.
I hear what you're saying, Lauren. And I think you assume a lot that you need not assume. And I think this assumption causes a lot of the grief and anguish and anxiety that you experience.
I feel a lot of frustration here, David, and I think you have to listen to our experiences because they're valid.
There's no struggle or strife if we don't cause it.
Have more time breathing. What's coming up for you?
I'm crawling out of my skin.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time this evening. The hard thing about talking about racism for me is kind of like what is already happening, which is that, I can't remember your name, but I'm flabbergasted with some of the things that I've heard you say today. From the first 5 minutes that I met you up to the present, I'm in awe. I'm blown away with dismay. Like, oh my God, did we ever have a long way to go?
Now, Victor, I hear you get excited over there, and I noticed Lauren's excitement. I got excited when Manoir said to us, he is Chinese American. Why can't he be just American and excited about being just American like David is?
But wait a minute,
He calls himself an American.
But I'm doing that for a very specific purpose.
Okay.
When I'm saying that I'm American, it's to fight against the white supremacist notion that only white people merit the privilege of status of that term, American.
Personally, I can't ever see myself going that route. Everything is done to make sure that we're not Americans, that we always are second class. Before I would consider myself an American, a lot of changes have to take place here. Matter of fact, I don't think it will happen for me. Maybe my grandkids will be Americans. Maybe they will be fully accepted and there will be a different America. But right now, I don't buy that.
I've never been accepted as American. You want me to be an American? I've always had obstacles in the way. I remember being in college, my first few years, I said, well, I'll be a business major. And my mother was buying stocks for her retirement. And she got these reports, see all the CEOs and everything on there, and everyone was white. And I just knew there was no way that I could do that. I just knew that even if I tried that, I could never get any place there.
It was an expose of government, politicians, senators, representatives, going on junkets. You know, it showed scenes at the parties that corporations sponsored. Everybody was American. The lobbyists were Americans, the politicians were Americans. There was no one, either among the lobbyists or among the politicians or among their family members that looked like me, that looked like him, like him, like him. Not one. Not one. How can I be American? How can I say those are my people? There's not one that looks like me. What is presented to me as an American does not look like me, does not think like me, does not cry like me, does not play like me. I would like it to be that I could say that we could all say we're Americans. I would like it if this country was kind of a model for the rest of the world, where people of all ethnicities and cultures actually form a community. But it's not happening right now.
So I see here an attitude expressed by Yutaka and by Roberto that says, how can I be an American? I can't.
You know, in some way I feel like he does. I am an American.
Well, I consider you American.
I can't fit the images that are presented to me.
We all have such different experiences. We can't be one person. We can't melt into one thing. Like even right now, even though there are, other Asian men here, I felt very isolated being Japanese and you guys being Chinese.
Courtney, what's coming up for you? Not a lot. I hear all of this. I've heard it for a long time, and it makes a lot of sense. Part of it is sometimes I don't know what to do.
I appreciate you talking, by the way. I just want to let you know that, because you are a number here and you have gotten a lot of negative feedback. Yeah. And believe me, you have only gotten the first 1%. So I want to tell you that, while we're still like this, that I appreciate your speaking up.
Before I began this discussion, I thought, well, maybe it's a relatively simple thing, but now I see that, boy, this thing is deeper than I ever imagined.
400 or 500 years.
And I don't comprehend it. Why aren't we just humans? I mean, why aren't we just brothers?
There's something different that's happened. You know what happens to me when I pass a mission? It's chopping off hands, it's slavery, that's what's different. And it gets tiring to not have that difference known.
There's something that's really troubling me about this process, and it's not the stories or the information that's coming out. It's not the content of anything, including from the white men here. All of the people of color in this group are sharing our experience as people of color, but I never see white people digging into their experience in the same way to look at not only what it means to be a person, but what it means to be a white person. I like to see you do that. David, Gordon, let's talk about what it means to be white men. I can talk to him about what it means to be a black man. I can listen to him about what it means to be a Latino man and relate to it as a black man, or to him as Japanese and Chinese men. What gets in the way of you guys saying, let's look at what it means to be white men.
I don't know what it is.
So talk to them. Talk to each other about that. How come y'all don't do that?
I have no idea. I think that for me, it's probably around there isn't a threat.
I never considered myself part of a white group, of a white ethnic group, or anything like that.
Yeah, well, why don't you hang out with that and interrogate and sort of explore down into that a little bit more? Because what I see white people doing is stopping right there, and there's all sorts of stuff. There's a gold mine of awakeness there that most white folks never ever get to. You just sleep right through it.
you don't talk because then you'll realize what your position really is in this world, and that is of the minority. Because several times different people have mentioned being outnumbered. I can't remember who said it. Maybe you said it.
I did.
Maybe
I did. And I feel all the energy coming this way.
Very much.
But what I'm saying is, if you took your place amongst the human race, you wouldn't have to worry about being outnumbered. And I wonder, is that one of the blocks with white men? That if you admit what you've done to people, you start denying your place, or what you think is your place as the power brokers in this world. Is that part of the reason why white men don't talk to each other about what they do?
That's the question. You know, we don't talk about that experience. I've talked with a few white men about that, and we nod our heads. Yeah, that's scary.
I just wonder, doesn't it seem kind of deep to you that you don't have an answer to that question? Do you have any notion that the fact that you have no answer to that could actually be a source of meaning, experience, or knowledge?
The opposite is how I feel about you, Victor. That you have no comprehension that the world is open to you. You think that the white man is a block and a dam to your progress, and he is not. I think you put up that dam and that block yourself, in your regard to the white man.
See, I think that's one of the major problems with racism. I think he did answer the question. Yeah. As a white man, he doesn't have to think about his position in life, his place in the world. The history books tell him, as they are written, that this world is his. He doesn't have to think about, where he goes, what he does. He doesn't have to think like a white person. The way the world has been set up, America in particular, white is human.
White is a human being.
Right. That's what a human being is.
Person.
So he doesn't have to worry about how do I think like a white person.
Being white is like being unconscious. You just, walk around the world, you feel entitled to wherever you are. It may not even be as profound as worrying about guarding the piece of pie, the white privilege that they've fostered over the centuries here.
I don't have to change the way I act or the way I look or the way I feel all the time, and some of my good friends do. Or they're angry all the time. And for me, that's a real sad way to have to live.
Why is being white such a unique thing?
It is kind of a unique thing,
Well, it must be. You're telling me that being white is special, and I'm not feeling special. And I've never felt special because I was white. And I'm dismayed that you feel so the opposite of special, underprivileged, I guess is a word, in relation to the white colored people.
If you say that you're a friend to people of color, you say you're a friend to Mexicans, to Asians, or maybe even before the weekend is out, to African Americans or what have you, what would it take for you to be as outraged at the gross indignity that your friends are subjected to? What would it take for you to feel as much grief at the destruction of that humanity as we feel?
It's difficult and frustrating to talk about it with other white people. When people have the power, whether it's realized or not, it's difficult to talk to them about it and say, hey, this is something that we need to give up. This is something that we need to share.
For years I've said, why do these guys have such a problem being a color? Why can't they just be individuals and go out and make a place for themselves? And I hear you saying that we whites don't allow that.
African American children, especially African American boys, up through the 3rd grade of school, they test at as high or higher levels than other children, and then it's downhill from there. Those children aren't thinking that the white man is blocking them. That's the system that is in place that's blocking them. It's not that I get so far and I'm like, well, damn, I can't do this because the white man won't let me. You know, I just don't decide that. Nobody just decides that. It's a systematic thing, and it's done by the people who say, oh, you can do it. You know, just try. You need a little individual effort. You can do it. And you're not in a position to see that. That's why we're here. We're going to help you see that.
I need to respond to your saying that I create my own racial predicament by my thinking and my attitudes.
You block your progress.
I block my own progress.
By allowing your attitude toward the white man to limit you.
There's a certain silent consciousness about or what it means to be American that I sense coming from white folks.
You're the same as I am, and you don't believe that.
People of color are spilling their guts, and then we get cross-examined, and it's like, well, maybe your problem is blah, 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 blah. Racism gets looked at as a person of color's problem, and it's not. Racism is essentially a white problem.
I don't think the society would be able to handle it. I don't think the white people would be able to handle the rage.
And you haven't gone out there like you haven't gotten in proximity to black people, as you say, because you don't have to.
You know, I gotta go to war out here every day.
And that's part of what it means to be American, is to have all these things that you can do if you want to, that you don't have to do if you don't want to do. And there's a way in which American and white and human become synonyms.
They step into a world that is theirs.
Why can't we just treat each other as human beings? To me, when I hear it from a white person, it means, why can't we all just pretend to be white people?
We're releasing something that's pent up, something that needs to be addressed so that we will no longer be mistreated.
Why don't you eat what I eat? Why don't you drink what I drink? Why don't you think like I think? Why don't you feel like I feel? God damn it, I'm so sick and goddamn tired of hearing about that. I'm sick of that.
Tell me the pain and show me the anger. I'm not afraid of their anger anymore.
Why don't you come the hell over here? That's what I hear every goddamn day. And you know that I can't come over there. You know that this skin, and that this hair, and that this way to that color, and that I think and I feel will never, ever get included because I'm unpalatable to this goddamn nation. I'm unpalatable. You cannot smell me. You cannot taste me. You cannot feel me because you don't want to. You think that you can survive without me, but you can't, man.
Like when LA happened, you know, I realized that a lot of them were only hurting themselves, but yet there are times when you gotta let go.
It was really important for me to see people express their anger against racism because it's something that is very hard for me.
It was difficult for me to relate to Victor. Victor's physical appearance frightened me and caused me to immediately dislike him. His intensity with his color and his heritage disturbed me and caused me to immediately put up a wall against him. I didn't want him anywhere near me.
I think one of the reasons that it's hard for white folks and in particular to hear the anger of black men is that we had projected onto us the distilled essence of rage and danger. You might imagine that we are the most dangerous and destructive creatures in the history of the human race. And to be seen as evil and rapacious and lacking in any sense of human dignity, I think that people don't get it, that when you see me that way, that you're still a part of my humanity and you hurt my feelings, my human feelings.
I can relate to their frustration. I don't know what to do about it sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm scared to do anything about it.
Act on that frustration by going after him and figuring out what's his story. And act on that frustration and get through to him in a way that I might not be able to do it. And then I have a question about it. What would be in your way to do that? What would be in your way of going after him now? After all that you've heard.
I know it's my problem. Sometimes I'm scared to do anything about it.
I mean, it could be real easy to do, I think. I would assume that it could be real easy to go the whole weekend and not go after him.
No, you in your life experiences, have you had many whites who have agreed to that? Have you witnessed much of that happen?
Oh, yes.
How does that make you feel?
Like the world can change. It doesn't have to wait for my grandchildren. That's how it makes me feel. at my son and my daughter and his son. It doesn't have to wait.
You know, I don't have a whole lot of experiences where I've seen whites do that. I think I've seen it in the past 2 years, maybe 2 times. You know, one of the worst things that happens, even though it looks like it's compassion, looks like it's stepping in, is when a white person comes up and says, God, that was horrible, that was done to you. Whew, do you already know what that feels like? God, that's really lousy. You know, and you're about getting ready to get fired. Other person's said something to you. I look at that person and I go, why didn't you say something?
When Rodney King went down, I talked to a printer and got prices on putting on a bumper sticker that said, I believe you, Rodney. And before I placed the order, I got scared. And my fear was that if I put that bumper sticker on, I'm going to be singled out.
By who?
By cops. And I wasn't ready to do that. And I'm not yet. I wish I had the guts to do that.
You have to pick your battles too. I think about what happened to Vincent Chin when he stood up to these laid off automobile workers in Detroit and how he stood up to them and got killed. I mean, there are times when I bit my tongue because I felt that my safety was foremost.
2 black men were sitting on the street, and the police were coming up to them to give them a ticket. And I said, well, what are we getting a ticket for? And the officer said something to the effect of, well, you are likely to do something wrong later on. So I'm giving you this ticket for this something wrong that you're about to do. And a young white woman came up. She comes up and she says to the officer, you know, this is very racist what you're doing. And she just kept plugging away, not yelling, but intervening, stopping some of the dehumanization that was taking place at that moment. You know, it was just, oh my God, there are white people in the world who can see white supremacy for what it is and block some of it. Most white folks don't see how much of a person's humanity gets taken away in an incident like that. And those that do often, I think, just want to close their eyes and ears and their heart to it rather than say it's got to stop. So it makes a huge difference when that happens for me.
I think that's what lifts the tiredness. Mm-hmm. That's what gives you the sense that maybe there could be some hope, that somebody else sees the madness, someone else sees the inhumanity. And so you don't have to carry it all by yourself. Only people of color can only see it. Somebody else sees it. Somebody else feels it.
The cure for the pain is in the pain.
You've pointed out to me where, I have racial prejudices, and I've expressed them innocently and naively by just little questions and statements that I've made. Maybe I really am that way.
Good and bad are mixed. If you do not have both, you don't belong with us.
Why don't you go out and just create a better environment? Why do we have to have this emotion that comes back to the white man all the time? As a white man, I'm unaware that I caused this, and last night I was shown that I do cause it.
I got the power.
But we're on top.
I got the privilege.
I have never had that concept that white is on top, that I am on top. Because I go into your arena, I don't feel on top.
What is our arena?
If I get with you on the volleyball court, you'll outperform me. Or if I go with you into your classroom where you teach, you'll be empowered, I won't.
I'm in your country, and I'm not empowered, and you are. Well, when white people who are in control do things that are in their best interest, they will help other white people, whether they do it for a reason or it's just incidental. We are not included in that.
the last U.S. Census tallied the net assets of black families, Latino families, and white families, and found that the net worth of white people is 10 times as great as that of African Americans on the average, and 8 times as great as Latinos. And that makes a difference in terms of how well people are able to care for their lives and to care for people that they love.
I think David is just a little country boy that's maybe naive. David thinks that every man should have an equal opportunity and does have that equal opportunity. But you're telling me that doesn't exist. And that may be so.
So what's keeping you from believing that that's happening to Victor?
Because it seems like such a harsh life.
What would it mean, David, then, if the life really was that harsh? What would that mean in your life? What if the world were not as you thought, that it actually is happening to lots of human beings on this earth? What if it actually were, and you didn't know about it? What would that mean to you?
Oh, that would disturb me, and it does disturb me when one hurts another.
Can you tell Victor that? Because I think he needs to hear that.
Yeah, Victor, if you were with me walking down the street and someone racially offended you, I would defend you.
Why?
Because I have seen in Victor, in you, a desire to improve, to change conditions. I see in you a quality that I don't have, and I admire that. I do not find you to be an enemy. Aggressive and frightening when you become very animated and agitated, but...
We spend a lot of time being nice and conciliatory and thoughtful. Occasionally, it erupts into rage. So I don't want to be excitable with you about it. I become excitable when I feel like there's no way for my humanity to get affirmed. I'm not willing to enter into a contract with you to heal racism that would be based on me suppressing myself all the time or making you comfortable all the time. I'm going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes you're going to be uncomfortable. Sometimes. I think it's real authentic and real and open-hearted for you to say, you know, when I hear you yelling like that, Victor, when I see how angry you can get about this stuff, I get real scared. You know, from the place where you can get in touch with your grief, not just mine, but yours about it, I can work with you.
Yeah, I hear that. And I feel that that's love and compassion, and from there we can progress, and we can come together as a people. But the emotion that threatens me is the words and the emotion of anger that I see coming from you. Mm-hmm. And that disturbs me, and I think when that occurs, I move out of this space of compassion to defense. Yeah. And then I don't want to work with you because I'm too busy defending or wanting to defend.
But do you sense where his anger and rage comes from?
Yes, I do sense that. Yes, I'm not void of that. Yeah. Victor, I do understand that you have cause to feel those emotions. Mm. You certainly have recounted several instances where you have been abused by white men, and that's not a comfortable concept that we want to harm you, because I don't feel that for any of you. You don't want to believe that man can be so cruel to himself or his own kind.
From here I can work with you.
Out of the, I guess, maybe about 6 hours of intense time that I've been in the room or breakfast with you, there has been about 60 seconds of compassion that I have felt towards you. Both of those had to do with hearing something from your heart and not from your head. This morning at breakfast, with the realization of how it feels to be different when you were grappling with you know, just kind of entertaining. If this is true, this must be really awful. If you have been hurt, if white people are hurting others like this, it must be awful. And there was a glimpse of emotion. I want you to realize that it only takes that much. For me, it only takes that much of an opening of your heart for me to say, okay, now I can move closer to you, or now I can trust you a little more. It doesn't take much for that to happen. And then I get outraged about that again. I mean, there's this cycle, like, God damn, why is it taking so long? Why is it that I'm so grateful for 60 seconds of compassion after 6 hours of work?
I want to believe that there is a solution. And I do believe there is. But I see here expressions that perpetuate the situation.
My experience with whites is when I start to share how I feel, they want to work toward a solution real fast. And I like to pose that sometimes I think that what you're trying to do is to find something real concrete and then move on. Is that I think that it might be a while you're just going to have to hear some of that journey of generations of generations of generations of pain and racism, even our children. I mean, I loved it when Hugh said, I just saw a little glimmer. But a glimmer in a lifetime is so very small. See, I really know that I know in this room, when the men were so moved with you, David, it's because sometimes that little glimmer in a lifetime is maybe all we've got left to move on to the next step.
I understand that. I follow that. And I understand the problem that the coloreds have, the people of color. Okay, Victor, I'll get there. I'll get there, Victor. Hang on with me. I understand the problem that people of color have with the white race. And in many ways, it's incomprehensible that with today's technology and modern means of communication, that the situation cannot be ameliorated, that we can't rise above it.
David, those things you talk about, technology and all that, I consider those toys, so you can't get to the heart. You know, everybody can say, let's do this, let's do that, but if the heart's not in it, it doesn't mean anything.
I don't want you to make a solution or solve it for me. I want you just to sit with it. I don't care if it hurts you or confuses you, or maybe even just irritates you for days, or that you can't eat tonight, or you can't sleep, because that's where it begins. Because people of color haven't slept for a long time with some of that nightmare, some of that horribleness. I think there's something that maybe this men in the room need to hear from you. Now that you've got a sense of what it might feel like today. Is there anything you want to say to them, any of them?
I do not wish to cause you anguish by my feelings, and perhaps my insensitivity. I hear you and I believe you, and I think you realize that. And maybe, yes, I do think simplistically that there is an easy solution, but that won't happen.
I want you to take some responsibility.
That I have minimized your troubles. And I think that minimization is probably what you encounter too often with whites.
Thank you.
Why do we do that to you in your situations?
You might want to just stop there.
Yeah, thank you.
I think what they're saying is that maybe you may need to ask yourself why you did that.
Do you want me to answer that?
No, I'm not sure if I want it right now. But just sit with it.
So out with the brew. Like a big pot of beans or something. Let it simmer.
Yesterday, I remember feeling like we're gonna make it, like there's some hope. One image that stands out for me is you, Gordon, with David. I remember seeing you out there with him and think, oh man, it's happening. I was so pleased to see you out there with him, you know, because I thought, oh, he's doing it. Whatever you were doing, he's doing it, you know, and I felt very warm towards you at that time.
Gordon shared his feelings and thoughts with me and showed me where I did have real prejudice against people of color. And being made aware of how I have offended men of color has caused me some anguish and some grief. And trying to work through that has brought up a lot of emotions within me. This will probably be difficult for me, but so you understand, I'm deeply chagrined that Roberto and Hugh have such strong feelings about white suppression, because I've been close to your people and I've never known that. I've never been made aware of it. It's been enlightening and good for me. And the Asians, gosh, I've always admired and respected you people, and I had no idea that you too were so racially abused and that it's been so difficult for you. And I'm sure that I will remember that. I have, from initially being intimidated by Victor, come to feel a love for him. That once we can get beyond that initial anger and fear that I'm going to harm him, Victor can be my friend. And anyone of his race can be my friend. And so I think I have made progress, and you have enacted that on me. And I appreciate that. And I would hope that from here I can carry this feeling that I have now to my family and let them begin to influence their friends with it. And in my sphere of peers, whenever I find them doing what I commonly do, use terms that are racially charged, I will stop them. So that unintentionally, these things don't occur. Because when I do it, it is unintentional. But it's probably come from a pattern or from a habit that I saw and observed in my parents. I'd like to help them do whatever I can. I think that's the place to start, is just understanding.
I'd like to say again, I think you have a lot of integrity for coming here. You could have easily skipped out on this and it wouldn't have affected your life one iota. The way things are that affect our lives. So, this is a big step. And, it's going to take a while to digest, but I think you can feel good about what happened here.
I do.
Okay, well, this is the end. What we're going to do right now is work towards closing this for ourselves. I'd like you to share some of your thoughts now that you're finished this weekend.
I'm talked out, I'm tired. This isn't something I do or recommend for anybody to do too often, unless you really want to go crazy. But I found out that you can really express your opinions with people who are different than you without it leading to any kind of violence. If anything, I think it strengthened the bonds between us because we recognized those differences in us and we came to respect them and we understood where they were coming from. Unfortunately, there's only about 13, 14 people in this room, including the crew, and there's like 250 million who need to go through this.
What felt good about this weekend was really seeing a white man move past some very deep-rooted racism, and to see him move past some stuff that he's had for however many years he's been alive.
And Victor's articulateness. 2 or 3 times I was really impressed. I really admired what you said. And I was very moved by you, David. I don't think miracles, I think it was a miracle, but I don't think that everything changes just like that.
To see you listen and witness you processing our feelings and repeating it as though you really understand it, it really gives me a lot of hope. I can't help but feel a little bit cynical still. It's so easy to go back to how you think normally.
His ability to struggle against racism will wear off unless he has other white men with him.
You asking me to talk with David? I really see my responsibility to get together with our brothers and talk.
The first time I saw what appeared to be tears welling up in your eyes, David, and you said, I don't want to believe that it could be this bad, that things are this bad. And there I saw your decency and how painful the reality of our common lives is for you if you let it in. And the reason he pushes us away or our experience or puts us down and validates is because you couldn't bear the pain. They give me compassion for you. It also made me want to say, bear it, because our common survival depends on that. You know, be a model for other white people.
I think one of the first thoughts for me is racism has killed a lot of people, a lot of our spirit, a lot of our fathers, and their dead bodies are lying inside of us. You know, except you just, sometimes you walk past us, you can't see it, but it's there. It's a struggle to try and survive and stay alive. And then I was also hoping by the end of this film there would be a shift. And that was the hope. I mean the hope for the white men that were in this film is the hope for white America to see is that something could be done.
The multicultural society is here. The problem is that people don't recognize it and don't know how to deal with it. What I'm not so sure about is how we're going to get to people who are going to be able to accept the society that's already in front of their face.
You know my pain, you know my anger, you know my story. It's your turn, it's your move.
Take time to look into another person's eyes, to see them, to see their hearts, to see who they really are.
There's a little bit of us in all of us.
This weekend was part of that, of just seeing the souls of somebody else.
And there was just the two of us staring face to face. And I could see myself inside him.
Allow yourself to have other people enter your heart that are different, that are diverse. Just allow yourself to be enriched.
If someone had said that I could hug a man of Afro-American descent, I would have said no, I would not. And yet I do. I hug Victor. I can stand face to face with Lauren and really enjoy him. I think Lauren's a special person. And just to hear your reactions to me and my white ways, and to see how racist I really am, woke me up. It startled me, and it hurt me that I could be so unloving and uncaring, and I would hope you would allow me the tolerance and forgiveness necessary to turn this around and go the other way.
America isn't a melting pot. We've been trying to do that too long and become white. But that America is a kaleidoscope. I really like that image. I saw a kaleidoscope here this weekend.
We will not survive as a human community if we do not find our common ground. If we do not find a shared self-interest and common humanity with one another. You've heard we're all in the same boat, right? We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. Well, we're on different decks on the boat, right? We're not all on the same deck. And whatever the reasons might be, I think that we're not on the same deck because some people want to be on top, and they are on top, and they have guns and money, and they know how to stay on top. And those people are on the bottom. Most of them have no way in the world of getting anywhere else. And there's a hole in the bottom of this boat. And the people who are on the bottom of the boat are drowning right now, even as the boat is sort of sinking lower in the water. There's still a cocktail party on the upper deck, you know, and you can play the music louder and have a few more champagnes or whatever you want to do. But if there's a hole in the bottom of the boat, who the hell is in danger? Just the people in the bottom. Or is it everybody?
All right, thank you very much. A couple of things I want to share. Could somebody turn the lights on, please? Thank you. Kind of like Victor said, there's a hole in the bottom of the boat. And I think if you know, we've been listening to young people talk, there's a hole in the earth. And we're about to lose it. And if we don't make a big change, it's going to be lost. And the earth will still be here. We don't need to worry about that. The earth will still be here. We won't. We won't. And how important is that melanin or lack of melanin in your body? Is it worth killing all of us off? I had a person who said to me today, I think I mentioned that I went into, I was in an interview, I mentioned that I went into a store and the guy remembered me being in there and he said, well, I said, so how do you remember me? I go, oh, it's a camping store. Don't see a lot of black women in here. He goes, no, we don't. How do we get black women in here? I said, how about you be friends with some black women and invite them to come in? So, well, how do you make friends? Well, how do you make friends? You see somebody and you say hello. It's real simple. This is not rocket science. It's real simple. So, just like I saw Lisa in the line at Costco, it's that hard. Hi, how you doing? So, a couple of things I want to share with you. And before I share these things, I want to say again, you cannot expect the work to be done to make the change that needs to happen to be done by the people who have not caused the problem.
Say that again.
The people who caused the problem are the only ones who can solve it. And maybe you yourself did not cause the problem as a white person, but your ancestors did. And you, unfortunately, have to accept the burden. Just like the kids who are coming and protesting in the streets, they didn't ask for the world to be screwed up, but we gave it to them. Every time we use a piece of plastic, every time we throw something away, we are contributing to the problem. And so we have to make a decision to stop contributing today. To stop and do something right now and not wait for the next person to do that. So white people, reach out, speak to somebody. Don't go up and talk about race. Do not do that. Do not do that. Talking to somebody about race is like asking them, and God forbid, Shane and I did a workshop, and I call myself being outrageous by asking people, when was the last time you had sex? And these fools answered the question.
No, you said, when's the last time you had sex and was it good?
Oh, when was the last time you had sex and was it good? And they answered the question to a total stranger. I couldn't believe that. So what I should have said is, how much money do you make?
You asked that too.
I did. Some of them told that too. So you've got to go up and talk to people. Hi, how are you? You know, I did it today to a woman at Kaiser. I really love your outfit. And we sat and talked, and I mentioned that my daughter says I'm matchy-matchy, and she was matchy-matchy. And we sat and had a great conversation. Then her husband came up, and we talked to him, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, we got to know each other. We got to find out about our family and a whole lot of things. Guess what? We didn't talk about race. Not one iota. So just get in the habit of talking to people. And white folks, you don't talk to each other. Do you realize that? Do you realize that? Come on now, I don't hear any answers. Do you realize that you don't talk to each other? I got white folks who live on my block. They're all white. They don't talk to each other. And they're the same age. I'm the only one who talks to them because I went over and met them. So, I just want you to reach out to people and say hello. Quit walking around doing that ostrich thing, acting like if I don't look up, nobody will notice me. I'm so tired of that. And I think it's the weather. I can't make the sun shine here. But start looking up, smiling at people. Okay, enough of a lecture. Okay, so here's the thing. At your table, there is a facilitator. Who are the facilitators? Raise your hand. So there's a facilitator at all these tables. Stefan, did you raise your hand? Okay, you're kind of shaky over there. Okay, so at your table is a facilitator. They have cupcakes to help celebrate. We made them small. They were donated by Fred Meyers, Peninsula Fred Meyers out in St. John's. And for those people who are like me that are gluten intolerant, these chocolate ones up here are for you. So, and there's 48 of the gluten-free ones. So don't eat them all at once, but save a couple. And then go clean them out. Okay, so there's enough for each person at the table to have a cupcake, at least. All right, so here's the other thing. If you came with someone and you are sitting with them, please switch tables. You will each have a different experience at your table. If you sit with the people you came with, you're only going to discuss what happened. If you sit at two different tables, you will have a much richer experience to have. It's kind of like sex. You're both involved in the same activity, but it is not the same experience. Go sit at another table. All right. Don't make me get started now. All right, so I need to pitch the raffle. We want to raise $2,000 tonight. We have the silent auction goal to sell raffle tickets, and for the art and all of those things, we need to do that. I'm going to check the auction for Hobbs and see how many bids we have. And remember to complete the evaluations and the greeting cards. Any comments, questions? Anybody need to say anything for the good of the order?
Who's buying raffle tickets?
Who's buying raffle tickets? Raise your hands.
They're only $10.
We are $700 short of our goal.
We're how many?
$700.
I would say
$700 short of our goal, so let's do it.
We cannot continue to have race talks if we do not open our wallets. Every single one of you, open your wallet.
This is a celebration.
Race talks is worth at least $30 if you were to buy a ticket. If you were to buy a ticket. There are about 125 of you in this room right now. What is that? I don't know. Somebody do the math.
Well, what's City Club?
That would be $3,750.
Come on, guys.
So I need you to open your wallets and to do this because I'm tired. I've had 3 concussions and almost had a heart attack. And I'm ready to step down. But Shayna cannot, as a young person, take over this program if there's not a salary. And we need to make sure that the program continues. If you are happy with the way things are and you don't want to see this program continue, then don't contribute. But be clear that it will go away if there's not money to make it stay. All right? And you get to feel guilty if it's not here anymore.
How are we on the auction?
All right.
Check the auction.
Hold on. I'm going to check the auction. And then you're going to start. We have one person that started for the picture at $110. That person's going to get the picture a $450 value. We need you to contribute. We need you. Just because you write your name on there doesn't mean you're going to definitely get it. But we need you to do that. Open up, reach out. All right, go for your discussion. And I will be back at 9 o'clock. 9:15, how's that? It's 10 after 9. We have 9 more raffle tickets to sell. 9 more tickets. How many? We just had one person purchase one. Do I hear one more ticket? Do I hear one more ticket? $10. Are you 2 tickets sold? We have 8 more raffle tickets to sell. Come on, you guys. If I can have your attention. All right, facilitators. Facilitators, would you please explain, do you want me to explain the ticket thing, or can you do that? What? Okay, each one of you explain what is it, the exchange? All right, hurry up, do that. All right, and then Shayna's gonna come around with the basket and collect the business cards for the $25 drawing. All right, go. I'm setting the timer for 5 minutes. We need 6 more people.
6 more raffles, guys.
6 more people is just $60. Let's do it. So, it is now 9:15, going on 9:20, and we need to stop. So, all right, is there anybody who did not get the instructions at their table for the drawing? Is there anyone who did not give instructions at their table for the drawing? All right, so Tony's coming around to collect. Who is it? So Shannon is coming to collect them. Put your cards in the air, please. All right, are there any other cards? Shannon, do you have all the cards for the drawing for the $25 gift certificate? I sure hope you guys explained it correctly to the people at your table. All right, so if I can have your attention, I'd really appreciate it. If you can hear my voice, clap 1 time. If you can hear my voice, clap 2 times. If you can hear my voice, clap 3 times. Thank you for the applause. Okay, so remember before you leave that Sunday at the Lloyd Center Regal Theater at 11:50, we're going to be meeting to see the movie Just Mercy, and then going over to McMenamins, which will be it's out about 2:40, and going over to McMenamins to discuss the film and have food and drink. And so, right now there's a couple of things we're going to do. We're going to have the drawing for the $25 gift certificate. We're going to find out if the facilitators explain this correctly or not. All right. Oh, gee. Okay, Melissa and Toby, where are you? All right, come get your card. Melissa and Toby, come forward, please. Melissa and Toby. Where's Melissa? Oh, okay. Toby, come on, Toby. You're moving slow. Or maybe you're Toby.
No, I'm Melissa.
So wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. All right. So what we want you guys to do is, when you go to McMenamins to eat, take a brochure, take a picture, put it on the website. We're going to have a big drawing for everybody who's done it.
Okay.
So, smile. All right. Thank you. Okay. So AJ, we're ready to do the drawing for the. Do I have to do this too? Shouldn't we have somebody else come do this? Okay, since I'm the oldest person here, I'll do it. All right. The number is 943253 for the basket. 943253. It's Callis? Cavlis? Oh, Carlos! Yeah, he gets it. All right. All right, good job. Let's hear it for Carlos. he can't even write. Ask me if I could read what he said. All these years I've been talking to this kid. All right, now we have the auction items.
All right, coming in with the solo bid unanimous, Richard Flanagan, come on down here. You are the recipient of a Hobbs Waters original.
All right, you could have had that too. He got it for $110. Hobbs had a display down at the Portland 5, Portland 5, isn't it? He was down there and presented as an artist. So, okay, last thing we want to do is, have we done all the stuff we need to do right now?
Wait.
Okay. Huh?
First Friday in February, we're having an art show with Hobbs.
Come. So tell them who you are.
My name is Toby Linwood. I own a tattoo shop with my wife, Lisia. Go ahead.
So where's your tattoo shop?
My tattoo shop is Tattoo 34 on 34th and Hawthorne.
I got my tattoo from there.
Yeah!
So you want to get tatted up? 34th and Hawthorne.
Well, no, just we're having an art show. We are doing First Friday art events at our shop coming up in February, where Hobbs will be our one of our artists there. So please come down, check it out, support him, and see his artwork, and buy his artwork, more importantly. Because Black representation matters.
Yeah, it surely does. Everything matters. So here's the thing. So I have posters here. If you would like to take a poster and put it up in your community about next month's Race Talks and Open Dialogue, Portland Parent Union and PBS Board of Education. If you would like a poster to take, please come and get one. It's next Tuesday, February 11th, Tuesday with Sheila Washington Warren. That's the wrong way. It's Sheila Warren Washington.
Sheila Washington Warren, right?
Yeah, it is Sheila Washington Warren. That's right. That's right. All right. 3 concussions will make you do things. And Susan Anglada Bartley. So, and the Portland Public Schools School Board. All the school board members will be here. So this is your opportunity to have input. If you'd like a poster, please come up and see me before you go. But thank you for coming. You all came. There was no snowpocalypse. This is our second non-snowpocalypse. Take your cupcakes with you, please. And thank you for coming to Race Talks. I think Shana wants to say something.
I just wanted to see if we could give one more standing ovation to this amazing woman, Donny, before she leaves. Thank you so much.
All right, you're all standing up. Come get your poster.
Thank you so much. Make sure to take some brochures, tell your friends about us. Facilitators, whatever brochures are left over at your table, please take them with your posters. And we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you for coming.